Hello everybody and welcome to Wildcat All Access. I'm J. Doc Holliday, and today we're beginning hopefully our biannual, weekly, whatever we can do, whenever we can figure it out, with Coach Brad Dedman here with the Wildcats of Wilson Central. Coach Dedman, how are you today?
Doing well.
Doing well, and we want to talk a little bit about what we've gone through so far. We've played 4 ball games so far, but let's back up even farther, back into spring. Spring practice, we did not get to have one, obviously because of COVID-19. How did you cope with all of that?
Back in March when it all went down, around that March 6th area, somewhere right in there, when we wasn't allowed to do anything, we kind of went to the drawing board and, used the Remind app, sending out workouts for our kids to do, running regiments for our kids to do. Had them send out 2 different types. So some people's got equipment, some people don't. And, just trying to do the best that we could with that situation. Once we got to May, we finally opened up to start workouts again in that May 25th, 26th area, somewhere right in there.
And that's where you had to do the groups.
That's when we had to do.
15,
we had 10 different groups, and, we were rotating people in and out of weight rooms, spraying weight rooms down 6-7 times and all that type stuff. And, we're still doing that as far as that. We hadn't, that part still hadn't changed, of spraying everything down, trying to disinfect everything. 9 people per group, and just trying to stay within the realms of what we could do, using outside, inside type stuff, equipment wise. And our guys and Coach Grooms have put him in charge of the weight room in May, and he's done a really good job of trying to combine everything together.
It's kind of tough. I mean, it's something obviously no one has ever gone through before, and you hear the parameters that you have to go by the higher ups, and you kind of say, well, this is kind of difficult, but it's something obviously we had to do. We definitely had to do it, and it's the best interest of our kids. It ain't just the best interest of football or anything that way. Safety is the number one priority, no matter what we're talking equipment wise, or if we're talking virus wise. We want to keep everybody as safe as possible, and do what we do on our end, and be as safe as possible. Right. Well, let's go on in now to the fall. We obviously there was about a week or so that we didn't know if we were going to be able to start the first week, on August the 21st with Springfield. It was still kind of up in the air about 10 days or so before the governor decided that we could start contact practice in order to play our first game.
I guess that's probably the most frustrating part as a coach. You don't know. You got your plan set forth about when you want to do things, and nobody would ever give you a date of the actual time it was going to start. And then finally, when we figured that out, we could put everything into place, and and start getting our routine back down. And football's a routine type game that you got to do. Make sure you practice over and over and try to get the repetitions and everything in. And once we was able to start contact wise, you're worried about can you tackle enough? How much do you tackle? And try to be as safe as you can, or trying to be as healthy as you can going into that first week. Right. And that was a balancing act as coaches we had to do.
Right. Well, we played Springfield first game. They were in the same predicament as everybody was in Tennessee, not being able to have your jamborees the week before, not being able to have scrimmage games. It was just first game. Let's go. And first half did not go probably as good as the head coach would want it to go, but the second half I thought we really turned it around quick. I guess you could say we just ran out of time.
I guess you could say that a little bit. Springfield did their job of making us have to adjust and some different things in that first half. From a defensive standpoint, we didn't adjust to a formation as well as we should have. They took advantage of it for about a quarter and a half till we finally got halfway through the second into halftime and finally getting it all corrected wise, and was able to play a lot better defensive wise in that second half. Offensive wise, we come out strong in the second half. We was able to take the first one down and score. We just we played well. We was able to move it so far, but Springfield's a really good football team, and they did really good on defense of stifling us a little bit.
Right, and in their division, just let's give them credit. They were state runner-up, and chances are, the way they're looking right now, 4 weeks in, they may go back to the state championship again.
That's a good possibility for them. They're, like I said, they're really good up front, offensive line-wise. I was really impressed in what they were able to do, especially to us. And, they manhandled us up front quite a bit. And, that's the things we had to come back after that game and work on.
Right. So the final score of the Springfield game was 21-10. So You know, we had things to work on. They always say you're going to improve the most from first game to the second game, and I think we did. The problem was we were supposed to play John Overton out of Nashville, and Metro would not allow Metro schools to play at that point, so you had to find another opponent. In this case, it was Battleground Academy. BGA, 125 plus years of, you know, football tradition there, beautiful facilities and everything. And we played there right with them. I mean, the final score was 12-8, but we played well.
We had our chances to win that football game, and we just didn't make the plays that it took to win. We was in the predicament-wise. We was able to drive it up and down the field. I mean, we was inside their 30, I think, 4 different times and come away with 0 points. And it's hard to win football games if you're going to do that part.
Right. Well, let's move on to the Rossview game. First home game of the year. Big rival, big region game for one thing. You know, winner of this game sometimes might have a closer chance of getting into the playoff system. Things, you know, a lot of things can happen.
That's right.
But Rossview, from last year to this year, I don't think they lost, but maybe 1 or 2 seniors. They had most everybody back offensively, possibly defensively as well, and we played extremely good, and you know, beating the Hawks, you know, 27-7.
You know, a lot of that was getting off to a strong start first when we was able to take that first drive and go down and score. Had the big play from Ezra Wildcat on the pass catch, and it carries up the sideline for the score. I mean, I got the momentum going. Also, a big difference of playing with just the atmosphere in your favor instead of playing the first 2 games on the road where you don't have much atmosphere, where tickets were limited, band's not there, and things on that order. And our guys fed off the crowd and just the excitement of playing. You know, huge region game. You got every region win you can get to set yourself up playoff seedings. You know, every game matters in the region as far as that goes.
Right. Well, let's take a break real quick, and we'll be back with the Kenwood game that we just played Friday night. Big win over there in Clarksville, 49-19. So again, you're watching Wildcat Access. We're here with Coach Brad Dedman, the head coach here at Wilson Central High School. We'll be back right after this.
Some people just have a knack for being there when you need them the most. Like your 3rd grade classmate who sticks up for you against that bully. The neighbor who gives you a jump start. And the friend who chases away that flock of geese at your outdoor wedding. Your State Farm agent has your back too, through good times and the not so good. And who's got your agent's back? State Farm, the company people have trusted for more than 90 years. We're here to help life go right.
Call Jeff Gannon today at 615-773-9000. Again, that's 615-773-9000.
And we're back here at Wildcat All Access. Again, we're here with Coach Brad Dedman, the head coach of the Wilson Central Wildcats. Coach Dedman, let's go ahead and talk about this past Friday night. We played Kenwood. You're supposed to have been another Metro team in Antioch High School we played last year, but you got to find another team. It was probably a little bit difficult being the 4th game of the year, but we found Kenwood, and we obviously went to Kenwood this past Friday.
You know, it's kind of a weird situation, all this kind of set up. You know, you're going through, and then you hear Metro's not playing. You know, they're going to move season back, and, you know, Antioch's first week was supposed to have been against us. They were supposed to play last week. It was supposed to have been their first week, and they still got postponed. So, I mean, I guess, you know, we were hearing the rumblings of, you know, Metro may not play. And so you get on the phone a few times and got to talk with Coach Greer from Kenwood, and we agreed to play. And if Metro wasn't going to be able to play, and you know, going into Sunday, even, you know, you're wondering, are they going to let Metro play? What have they been doing? And you know, we finally just made the call. Hey, it's going to be us versus Kenwood, and you know, we was able to make that happen.
Yeah, because you can't wait till Wednesday or Thursday. You got to decide, and of course the decision was made, and so Kenwood, I guess, stepped up to the plate. We did too. So we decided, well, let's just go to Kenwood. And Kenwood Knights, it was their first game of the year because they had also been held out of games by Montgomery County. So they had played, I think, 1 game prior to us in Clarksville Northeast and were defeated. So they're probably, if I'm mistaken, could have been their first home game of the season.
Definitely their first home game of the season-wise. And, you know, Kenwood's a good athletic football team. They've got skilled guys that can make big plays at any point in time. From a defensive coordinator point of view, it's a scary team to play because they can throw one up and watch them score if we just have one little small mishap. And but you know, like I said, they're a really good football team.
Well, let's get to the brass tacks of the game. We got some highlights we're going to show you in just a second. But big plays from Xavier Ali, big plays from Ezra Widelock, big play from Abe Ghazal, and all of that was probably connected to one guy, and that's Tristan Lewis.
Tristan, he's done a really good job. The last 2 weeks, he has turned it around quite a bit. He's playing much better football right now, understanding probably a little more than what we want to do than what we maybe were doing the first 2 weeks. So we've kind of simplified some things for him to help him out with that, and can kind of let some of our big-time players make some big-time plays and just try to give them those opportunities.
Right. Well, let's check a look. We've got the highlights of all the scores, and 49 points. It's going to take a little while, but let's just, if we can, turn around right here. And first one we're going to talk about is Xavier Ali's 14-yard run to make it 7-0.
Xavier does a really good job of taking this stretch play outside and getting it out there to the edge.
And you see number 7 right there in the middle of
the things that excite me the most is you see number 15 stand on blocks, you see our linemen stand on blocks, and if we give just a little bit of room, Xavier does a good job with the ball.
Right, and that's one thing that I have seen noticeably. I mean, it's just very noticeably, is that this defensively secondary is one thing, but the blocking of the wide receivers on the outside. I mean, they once they get their block, they lock in and they stay with them.
They're doing a really good job of blocking on the edges right now. I mean, that's the things that we preach. Just like every football coach does. If you don't block, you don't get the rock.
That's
and
right.
They do a really good job of blocking out there. The last 2 weeks, they've done a really good job of blocking.
So let's go to I believe the second one right here. Again, before we do that, this is Blake Hobbs, his 5th quarterback sack of the year, because he had 4 going in, and this is the first possession Kenwood had after Ali's first touchdown, and Blake just comes from his left linebacker and nobody touched him.
Go and watch. This comes from a little bit of film study here and putting Blake in a position where he can make a play. With the formation they gave, this was this big tendency that they had, and was able to get pressure on him with Hobbs and everything, and he does a really good job once he gets back there to make a tackle.
Yeah, and Blake is just one of those players that he's always going to be there and give you all he's got, 100%.
Definitely so. He's one of those guys that's you tell him a couple things that, hey, you do this, do that, and he's going to do his 100% his best to make sure that he does that. He does exactly what you tell him to.
Our next play again was Xavier Ali, 5-yard run, again first quarter to make it 14-0.
Xavier does a good job taking this inside. I think it's actually power. I think this one is.
Let's see here. We'll try it.
Here we go. 2 on the right side.
I think we take.
Might be the outside one. I may have them mixed up. But
yeah, he just takes. Actually, we're just blocking regular zone there. He just bounces it outside. Does a good job of just seeing where the defenders are not.
Yeah, 6'2". What is he really?
I would say he's in that 6'2", 6'3" range. He's pushing that probably 205 somewhere. And I don't think he's quite 215 just yet. But he runs like he's 215 when he runs the football.
Well, I tell you, if he was running toward me with what he's got, I think he was 215, maybe 300.
Yes.
He's a load to bring down.
He does a great job of exploding through tackles. Like when people's fixing to tackle him, he delivers the blow more than he takes a lot of times.
Yes, and you can see that in the film. So leading 14-7 is Kenwood. One of those passes they got behind us, and it led to a score. But with about 11 minutes to go here in the second quarter, we get another score right here from, I believe this time it's Ghazal. Or maybe it's another Ali. It's another Ali. Yeah, we get it. This is his 3rd touchdown.
2 wide receivers to the left. Motion is going to be the tight end, number 14. But before that,
here's where he takes the power, hits the hole up the middle. Does a good job of dragging people into the end zone. Like I said, if he's got
and he's always going to drag 1 or 2.
He's got a track. He's going to make them have to tackle him.
So that makes it 21-7. And another thing is our PAT kicker. Every touchdown we score, another PAT of 1 point.
Absolutely. Esteban does a really good job this game. He hasn't really kicked many until this game, but I think we're going to see him quite a bit more coming out.
Next one is Lewis. This is the first touchdown pass from Tristan Lewis. This time he found Abe Ghazal, and you can see the touch on the pass that Tristan holds. A lot of people may have just tried to throw it in there. He just kind of lofted it.
Yep.
I thought maybe he needed another yard. If you see the close-ups on NFHS, as you can go back and see those highlights. That's pretty much what happened. But Abe brought it in.
There he is. Go get him. Lewis, the quarterback. He's going to roll out to his left. He looks to throw.
And he
it
just
across.
lofted
Hey,
it
he
up.
does a-
Lofted up. He almost didn't get
He does a
it.
good job making an adjustment on the catch and coming back, making sure his feet's in.
And he just gets inside the pylon.
Absolutely. So I mean, that's a heck of a catch by Abe Gazal right there.
And he did a big first 2 games, too. He was a little bit quiet against Rossview, but he's out there, and we all know it.
Absolutely. You know, he's a big-time player for us, and, you know, we got to continue using him throughout the year.
So our next one is Xavier Ali's 4th touchdown of the half. I mean, you've been here as long as I have, pretty much. I don't remember one player scoring 4 times in a half.
No, not necessarily. Yeah, I know it's been a while. It's been a while if it has happened.
A little bit, a little Alzheimer's maybe kicking in on both of us, but I don't remember 4 touchdowns from one player.
This is probably one of his better plays as far as his runs and things on that order, as far as just taking something out in space. He does a good job catching his flare pass and splitting the difference between the 2 defenders.
And once he gets splits, he turns on his jets.
So, but once he gets his shoulders down square right there, he has a good job of changing gears right there, trying to make it in there.
Yeah. Let's go right on into the next one. This one's another pass. This time, this is next to the last touchdown that we score. This one's in the 3rd quarter to Ezra Widelock. Widelock has been probably a lot of people based on last year to now. Not a pleasant surprise. We always knew he had it, but he has really turned it on for us this year.
Especially the last 2 weeks, and the Kenwood was no different. He takes this jet right here, I think, into the.
If I can get it.
He takes this jet, I think, which we kind of pitch the jet so it makes it a pass, but technically it's still just a running play. And he does a good job of getting out there and seeing the vision of making the cutbacks and things.
That's what I was thinking. He can really see the field well.
Yeah.
Where he can stop it, and he can stop.
He can stop on the dime. He's somebody. He's hard. He's hard to defend against.
Hard. So our last touchdown, well, it's already pretty much in the bag, 42-19, but it was there, and Lewis connected with Widelock.
Well, coming into this part, and we've had 3 series, I think, where we had 3 plays each series, wise whatever, and we're pinned back deep. And, so, I mean, we're needing to make a drive and do something here a little bit different, because if they score, it cut it to 14. Then if they get an onside kick, then you're having to play trying to keep it
and
when
they're explosive enough to where you've got to worry about that.
So our mindset at this point in time, we've got to finish this thing, and we come up, and, technically we wasn't looking for the big play. Ezra just made it a big play.
But he made it a big play. This is 2nd down on about 9 from about the 10-yard line because it was a 90-yard touchdown. As we'll see here in just a second, I hope.
Hold his arm up. There he goes.
90 yards. That doesn't happen very often.
He does a good job of making it.
And he could go all the way.
And I guess one thing about him, most people don't know is really how fast he may be. He pulls away for against some fast guys right there.
He does. And breakaway speed, as Jake Hood said in the broadcast, is just unbelievable what he showed right there. Because we've already known it, but now he's really showing it in the game itself.
Very much so. He's done a really good job.
Well, let's take another quick break. We'll talk about next week.
There's
some team we got to play.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about them in just a second. Again, you're watching Wildcat All Access here on WCSN.
Some people just have a knack for being there when you need them the most. Like your 3rd grade classmate who sticks up for you against that bully. The neighbor who gives you a jump start. And the friend who chases away that flock of geese at your outdoor wedding. Your State Farm agent has your back too, through good times and the not so good. And who's got your agent's back? State Farm, the company people have trusted for more than 90 years. We're here to help life go right.
Call Jeff Gannon today at 615-773-9000. Again, that's 615-773-9000.
And welcome back to Wildcat All Access. Again, I'm Jay Doc Holliday along with Coach Brad Dedman, the head coach here at Wilson Central High School. Coach Dedman, we've talked about the games so far that we've played this year. We're now 2-2, but there's the next game is pretty special. It always has been, always will be. and that's of course with the Mount Juliet Golden Bears.
It's just a county rival game. I guess it's been our arch rival since this school's open. I mean, that's where most of our kids, come from as far as that. I can remember back in 2001 when the school opened, you've got half Mount Juliet, half Dedman here, and trying to mix them to make a team. And we've come a long way since then. This game is special. It hadn't went our way in a number of years now, but every year is new, so you never know what may happen.
Yeah, Coach Perry and all of his staff, they just do an excellent job. With Green Hill High opening and some of their players being taken to Green Hill, they're still right there where they want to be at this point. They defeated Gallatin last week 31 to 10, and so they're pretty good.
Mount Juliet, they're going to be good year in, year out right now with Coach Perry there. He does a great job of getting his team ready to go.
When's he going to retire? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. He's got a while, I guess. He's got a while. But he does a great job of getting his team ready to go offensively and defensively, special teams. They play a complete football game. And, to beat them, you've got to play a really good game yourself because they don't do many things to beat themselves. And, that's what we've got to do this week and prepare for it is to play one of our better football games.
You always got to remember, seems like in the last 4 or 5 years, there's that fake punt or that reverse or that one play that they pull out of the hat that kind of hurts us a little bit. So obviously we're going to be on the lookout for everything they're going to throw at us.
That's some things they've done in the past. Is just trying to find the momentum, get their momentum early. And, that's been probably the biggest key if you look throughout the years of things like last year we had the punt drop we dropped the punt and, they was able to recover and score early to make it an early 6-0 lead or 7-0 lead right there. And, those are things that we've got to guard against to make sure, it's just routine plays and it's nothing major. We just got to make sure everybody does their responsibility.
And the biggest thing is everybody does their block and everybody does their tackle. And everybody holds on to the football.
Absolutely. It just goes back to the responsibility part of it. Everybody's got their certain job they've got to do to make this whole thing work. Like on our defensive wise, everybody's got to fit in their spot to make sure that we stop that play. If somebody gets out of whack, then it's bad things can happen. They can make a big play out of that. So everybody's got to do their job.
And if there is a bad play, you just got to, it's over. Make sure it doesn't happen again and work for the next one, right?
Very much so. We just got to, it comes down to blocking and tackling in the end, making sure I can do the long, make sure the snaps, everything are good. So everything matters. You can't waste plays. You can't have a lot of bad snaps to waste plays. And, and everybody just do their responsibility.
All right, so let's talk here in our closing moments. Tickets and the way it's going to be handled. We all know that we've been given we are giving all opponents 400 tickets out of the total of 1,500. That's pretty much how it goes. I mean, we've got 400 to give to Mount Juliet, and they'll probably sell them out. We'll probably sell out the rest of ours. But all of that, is there anything else we need to, let the viewers know about once they come here to Wilson Central?
Gotcha. Tickets wise, once tickets are gone, you can't get in. So I would advise to buy them early.
I know this morning, because we're recording this on Monday morning, about 12:30 or thereabout, and our athletic director's already said that there were 215 tickets sold online in the first 10 minutes when they went online at 8:45 a.m.
That's a good sign. That's just a lot of excitement coming into this game. Like I said, if you go back and look at last year's game, I think we were 4-0 going into that game at the time, and they were 2-2. So it's kind of vice versa this year as far as on that end of it. And the crowd was huge last year. This year it's not going to be near as big because we can't allow them all in. Tickets wise, we hope so. Yeah. We definitely hope so. It's going to be a fun environment. This game is a fun game to play in.